So Blumberg Capital has been around for 32 years, early stage VC, started by David Blumberg, who is a great Zionist investor. He's from the US, so we are a US-based fund. We have offices in 4 different locations: San Francisco, New York, Miami. Of course, now you got to have Miami's office, right, in today's atmosphere, and of course Tel Aviv, which is one of the main offices of the fund. We are investing in B2B software companies, and we're starting very, very early, meaning we can do sometimes pre-seed, but we prefer seed and A rounds. Our first check is usually between $500,000 to $5 million, and we continue to invest in these companies for as long as they are interesting and have the potential to become at least $1 billion company.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. 20-Minute Leaders is a proud supporter of Make-A-Wish Israel and Tech to Peace, and is in proud collaboration with Secret Chord Ventures, J Ventures, Riverside FM, Fusion VC, Birthright Excel, J Impact, Leap, Google for Startups, and Hippo, and in media partnership with CTech. Yodfat Harel Buchris, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Thank you so much for joining me today from, obviously, the Blumberg Capital offices. Thank you very much for being here. How are you?
Thank you for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to meet you. And let's make this as interesting as possible.
100%. So Yodfat, straight to the point, you're one of the respected and well-known figures in the Israeli ecosystem. You've been pioneering, working with incredible companies for many, many years in executive positions and in investment positions, from software companies that are very modern and are cutting edge today, either in the security scene, in the marketing scene sometimes, but also companies more in the infrastructure layer of society, and really that touch on the daily lives of each of us. And so you've really seen the breadth of different organizations and the different decision making. And so I'm particularly curious to hear about your journey and how you've shaped your interests and what you're excited about. And I'm most of all then interested in piecing together with you how you now decide who you want to work with and what matters for you now that you've seen so many leaders and so many entrepreneurs. I'm sure that there's different bits and pieces of intuitions and decisions that you've come together. So Yodfat, tell me a little bit about Blumberg Capital that you're part of now, and then I want to trace back to your journey.
Yeah, sure, with pleasure. So you've said so many things that I have something to say about, especially the very, very, very diverse variety of things that I was involved with, and it has a purpose. It has a goal, and it has a lot of meaning that I'll be happy to share with you, of course. So Blumberg Capital has been around for 32 years, early stage VC, started by David Blumberg, who is a great Zionist investor. He's from the US, so we are a US-based fund. We have offices in 4 different locations: San Francisco, New York, Miami. Of course, now you got to have Miami's office, right, in today's atmosphere, and of course Tel Aviv, which is one of the main offices of the fund. We are investing in B2B software companies, and we're starting very, very early, meaning we can do sometimes pre-seed, but we prefer seed and A rounds. Our first check is usually between $500,000 to $5 million, and we continue to invest in these companies for as long as they are interesting and have the potential to become at least $1 billion company. For that, we raised 5 funds to date, and also we have a new opportunity fund in order to allow us to actually be there for the longer term. We are 22 people, and across the different offices with different expertise. And what we have, which is, I think, quite unique in our fund, and this is part of the work that we've been doing in the last few years, is that we have added value services. Some of the people that you know very well, for instance, we have an HR services where we help the early entrepreneurs to build their HR strategy that goes hand in hand with the business strategy. So we brought for that, I think, leading worldwide expert. She used to be Shawana Mizrahi. She used to be the head of HR in A200 at the time that you served in the unit. And of course,
I
she knows,
remember the name
yeah.
very well.
So of course she knows the system and the ecosystem and the people and bits and bytes of who can work with who, and she's part of the team, a very important part of the team. We have marketing, business development, we have PR, and we have, which is quite unique, a CIO council. We have 160 members from the largest companies in the world, like Disney and Gap and Google and Amazon and
Wow,
IBM and so forth. I'm not doing here promotion for anyone, but just to emphasize the importance that we see by connecting to the industry and creating network for entrepreneurs very early in their life cycle, in their journey. So we have
incredible.
meetings every quarter that actually allows the entrepreneurs to meet these people that are usually, C-level in these companies. Until you meet them, it takes almost forever. And they have the first interaction early on, and then they can continue to ask questions. Some of them serve as advisory board members in the companies, and sometimes they become customers, sometimes exit partners. So we are thinking about, always the next phase to see how we can actually serve best the entrepreneurs, guys like yourself, super talented, coming from different places in the world, leading universities and so forth.
Incredible. So take me back to your own journey. So obviously you've been in this space for quite some time. I'm going to be interested to later understand the transition into to Blumberg, and you're obviously very intentional with your own decision making. How did you get into the world of investing in general, choosing to be on
Yeah,
that side of the spectrum?
I think it's something that you actually get from. It's kind of a dream that you have from very early on, and usually, and I'm sure that you will identify with that. You get it from home. So I've been in this space, very early in my youth days because of my father. He used to be in the banking industry. He used to work with very large companies, industrial companies, but also high tech. Back then, I've been in the industry for over 30 years. So back then, there were not many tech companies in Israel. However, the one that were around were very famous, and everybody were looking at them and taking examples and looking at the leaders of these companies and trying to actually do copy paste of what they're doing. So back then there was only one fund in Israel. It was called Yozma. Really, really many years ago. But as I mentioned, my father was in the banking industry, and I started my career after the army as a teller in Israel Discount Bank. So I was actually a cashier, working there for I think almost a year, which was very weird. But after that, I traveled to the Netherlands, and I used to work for investment banking and private banking in Amsterdam, which got me even closer to the industry that I'm working in today. And in 1994, which is a long time ago, My father started a business for business development between Israeli tech companies and Japanese companies. So it started from tech and expanded to many other areas. And I did it for 10 years. At the end, I also managed the company. But it gave me such an important foundation to everything that I'm doing today. I got to learn about business tolerance and patience, and how to actually understand that when somebody is saying it's very difficult, it means no, and how to actually interpret different cultures, and to help Israeli companies to actually understand different culture, which it's not very easy, and it's not trivial at all, especially in the Far East. So I did it for 10 years, and it was super interesting. And in 2003, I was offered to join Orbitech, which was one of the customers of
Hmm.
our company, and I was leading the VC of Orbitech. Super interesting role. At the end of it, it was a CVC in a very small market, and we recommended to actually close the venture arm of the company. And I got an opportunity, which was amazing, to actually start a new division, and which was the medical imaging. So my first interaction with the healthcare world was via this company, which was interesting. After that, many opportunities came along, and I was sitting as a board member on behalf of Obertech in industrial companies, and also biotech companies, and some of them went public. So, a little bit by bit, you get information, you get experience, you get to learn new things from different disciplines, which was very, very interesting. And I was curious all the time. I was learning and reading, and not a lot of internet back then. um, after after that, I was offered by the Sabledovich family to actually manage their business in Israel, and it was a dream job. So I did it also for 10 years, and I was a chairperson of a real estate company, and I was a chairperson of hotel management company, and a lot of private equity. And we invested from the submarine cable to pharmaceutical companies, to industrial companies, to tech companies, to storage companies, to cyber companies. So the large variety really, it was a huge exposure to different verticals, but it was also an amazing opportunity to learn about, you know, different market segments, different technologies. And it was a lot of work. When you invest in a company,
I'm
you actually
curious,
need.
Yodfat, what did you start learning about your own interests or your own passions as because it sounds like you have you're quickly building on this arsenal of so many you big diverse and experiences that really push you constantly to new limits. What are you starting to learn about your own passions and your own interests here?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the bottom line is that it all about people. And it's not a cliche when you say, people matters and so forth, but the things that were my biggest success, that I'm most proud of, is the interaction, the relationship I build with entrepreneurs and with managers in companies, because it brought deal flow, network, friendship, which is very dear and very deep. And I think this what makes me, super curious. Different verticals, different segments bring different entrepreneurs. But the bottom line is that I'm always drawn to the same kind of people. People that are
Interesting.
leaders, people that are super innovative, people that are creative, and people that can work with other people. Super individuals is something that is very hard for me to actually understand and also help. Part of my role as an investor is to actually see what you need as an entrepreneur, and actually build an infrastructure of services that will serve you, will suit you personally. And people that cannot interact and are super genius, and there are so many people that I missed because of that. But the bottom line is that the main, I think, common denominator is that I'm drawn to people that can actually cooperate with other people, that have vision, that can actually see the team grows and can lead other people to the success that the technology allows.
Incredible. Do you have a, if you're looking back at the companies you've backed and the entrepreneurs you've experienced, are there instances that come to mind that really exemplify, these key leadership moments where you're looking at somebody and saying, okay, wow, this behavior or this event really, shines light on how I think entrepreneurs can really succeed?
Yeah, definitely. And I think you'll understand it best because of the time that we're living in now. And I think that entrepreneurs
Right.
shine best when there are crises. Okay, when there are things that need to be resolved, that you need to be super creative and human at the same time, with a lot of understanding of what the other people need, what the market needs, what the customer actually needs. Crisis can be from very different, places. It could be in the product, it can be in the market, it could be with the other investors, it could be with the founders. Sometimes founders, that establish a company do not get along for the life, after a few years. So crisis comes in different shapes and forms, but the true leaders shine best in times of crisis. And these are the people that I will invest in over and over and over and over and over again, even if they fail the first time. But there's something about the resilience, there's something about, I'm there no matter what, and I'm not running away when things are a little bit tougher. Um, Makes me you know I'm drawn to this kind of entrepreneurs and people. And I think now you see it all around us, people that can actually see 3-4 steps ahead. These are the people that will actually succeed in the times that we are in, and will shine eventually, and their companies will succeed, and their team will stay with them for a longer period of time. So, and the other,
Yes,
there, the other
100%.
type is are the people that can actually come and say that they have a problem, and that they are transparent and working in a way that I can actually open all my network and everything that I have in order to help them. And this is building the trust with the entrepreneurs from day one. I think this is the most important thing in every relationship, but in investor founder relationship, it's even bigger, it's even more important, it's even, we are giving you guys um, not just money, but the reputation, the network, the opening doors. We trust you. We trust what you say. We trust the product that you build. We trust the team that you recruit. We trust the next phase. We trust that you're doing the best that you can, and we need you to trust us as well at the same time. So transparency and trust. These are the things that I will take the moon, stars, and sun for entrepreneurs that are transparent and trustworthy.
Wow. No, I can definitely feel that coming from you. And looking a little bit ahead, we're just at the beginning of 2024. It's a crazy world that we're living in. We're in the middle of a crazy time in our own ecosystem, which speaks to a lot of the resilience and the crisis management and the leadership that is being exemplified here. Looking into the next 1 or 2 years now from an investor's hat, you've seen a lot of different markets, a lot of different industries. What are you particularly excited about now?
You mean in market segments or entrepreneurs and companies?
But well,
It's
both. If you're
Yeah,
thinking about where you're going to be spending your time over the next 2 years, what types of
yeah.
people, what types of markets?
I think there is several things that are happening around us on a macro level that we have to actually, stop for a second and build a new strategy as investors. Okay, we've been seeing in 2022 and 2023 a tech global crisis, we thought it would be bigger than it is, but actually the fact that a lot of investors, the interest rate where we in the financial sector has been high in order, and it created some kind of disadvantage for us as a long-term investors, where investors decided where to put their money. So I
Yep.
think it created a situation where we all need to be even more professional, even more creative, even more open-minded than we were before. So the macro level really influenced a lot the way that we think and the way that we act and the way that we invest. The second thing is that technology, huge leap that we've been seeing in the last year, where AI and Chat GTP became, kind of must-have technology. So the data
Yes.
element is playing a much bigger role in our decision making processes with regards to new investments. The financial sector, the enterprise sector requires a lot of efficiency processes. So the CFO suite is super interesting for us. It has data in it. It has AI element. It has large important enterprises that are interested to make their you know companies more efficient, more relevant, more transparent, by the way, to the C level that they're working with. So these are the things that I think will be very interesting. On the other hand, there is a lot of new regulation coming from the clean tech market, coming from the food tech market, coming from the cyber world. So we were not that strong in food tech and clean tech. So far, we have not invested in this market, and now we are starting to look at clean tech from the financial side. Okay, not from the science side. It needs to have a very, very, very specific financial use case, or that we can actually understand and see the long term value for our investors. Of course, cloud infrastructure is always interesting, but it quite crowded, I would say. And during COVID, we invested in seven very, very interesting digital health companies. So I think in the next 2 years, we will try to do our very best to help them actually to penetrate the market, increase their market share, and be exposed to more and more and more customers around the world. So I think the theme of most of our funds is data. Now it's data and AI. So whoever has interesting software B2B company in the spaces that I've just mentioned, it could be super interesting. In the other thing that we are concentrating in is supply chain management, which is not very strong in Israel, but super strong in the US. And we have several companies in this space. They're going through a disruption, really, really big disruption of technology moving to the next level of data and AI. Also, very relevant to what we're doing now.
Yodfat, I think that hearing you talk about your own excitement and predictions for the next few years, it just shines back to what you were talking throughout the first 20 minutes about, your own interest in leadership and the entrepreneurs that you want to be backing and working with, but also your experience in working with many different segments and many different markets. And it's clear that you have insights and you have respect for different markets that are rising, and you're looking at them. And I think that's also probably what makes this also a very exciting time to invest and to be a part of this ecosystem. And I really want to thank you for the time here. Thank you for the inspiration and for sharing your own journey with me. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to share this with other young entrepreneurs and friends and colleagues. And thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. And I think the most important message, and thank you for what you're doing, I think it's very important, although it's very, very short, is that the doors are open. We are all looking for the entire industry, looking for interesting entrepreneurs, and Blumberg Capital is doing its best to actually help them to grow and to become great success like our other, 10 different unicorns. So thank you for having me.
Wow,
And
incredible.
may we have
Thank.
great 2024.
Amen. Amen.